One of the areas that raised a lot of concern at the public meeting was persons were of the view that this plan is an attempt to have a wholesale conversion of agricultural land, again, which is not the concept.
My position is absolutely clear. Not a single square meter of good agricultural land should be taken over agriculture. Very clear.
Land is a resource. Its uses include residences, agriculture, recreation, and commerce. Over time, its usage can change based on population needs and sometimes based on competing interests. The St. David's to Six Crossroads area was predominantly and historically agricultural, dotted with some villages and communities. However, this began to change around 2002 when a number of requests began to flow in for the conversion of agricultural land, particularly for residential purposes. In a recent interview, Chief Town Planner Mark Cummins explained that in order to respond to these requests in a transparent and evidence-based way, the Barbados government commissioned a land use plan for the areas from St. David's Christchurch to Six Crossroads St. Philip. The 10-month project extends from the intersection at Lower Burney and Highway 5 to Six Crossroads.
We started to see a pattern of applications coming in for the area, which we began to monitor. But it really grew to a point in 2008 where we felt it was outside of what we had planned for the area. Therefore, in an effort to be able to make the most informed referral to the minister, because the majority of the applications requested the change of use of agricultural land. We felt it was necessary to do a study to find out exactly what was behind this large increase in the number of applications in the area, but specifically the large increase in applications for the creation of residential lots.
The planned scope includes all aspects of land use within the area and considers any possible repercussions.
Do those communities have a sufficient supply of community facilities, open spaces, areas of passive and active recreation for the residents of the community? Something else that the plan will also look at is what will this community look like in 10 years from now? So that's another critical thing. If based on the research and the data, if it is envisioned that we should have greater levels of development in the community, can the road network that exists now carry this level of development? So the plan has a very, very, very wide scope. The plan will also be looking to see, is there need for the creation of employment areas within this community, or is there a sufficient supply of employment areas? What we're looking to do is to make sure that there is some order brought to how the area is developed, because it's the fastest growing area in Barbados, that being Eastern Christchurch and St. Philip, the fastest growing area in Barbados. So we have to make sure that the services are there. And St. David's was chosen as the start point, not as a guess, but because of the large volume of applications for the plantations around St. David's, namely Staple Grove and Hanson, that came in. And Six Roads was chosen as the end point because Six Roads has been identified and is functioning as a regional center within our hierarchy of centers.
EcoIsle Consulting Incorporated and Open Plan are already in the community collecting census data and speaking to members of the community.
We have also requested them to engage the community in the planning process, which is a very critical pillar for planning. And we have had one community meeting, and this concept, though new to Barbados, is not new to planning, where you go into the community before you've basically put anything on the paper as it relates to policies or what you would like to see, to find out from the community what they would like to see in the community and the things in the community which currently exist that they do not like. And I think it is important for me to outline the professional skills that we will find within the teams from Eco Island Open Plan. Obviously, we have our urban planners. There is an agricultural economist. You have a GIS, Geographical Information System technician. There's a traffic specialist. We also have drainage engineers, and also someone who a trained expert in cultural and natural heritage.
It's very important for me to make it clear at the start that at the moment there is no plan. Our job is to produce a plan. We've come to this with no preconceptions as to what the plan will be. The stage we're at the moment is purely gathering information, listening to opinions, listening to views and concerns and aspirations. We'll then move into the stage of identifying options for the future, and we'll go through a process of evaluating those, and then we'll come up with a draft plan.
The main concern of residents who attended the meeting was that the plan is an attempt to convert agricultural land.
I used to go for potatoes and edibles. The last thing I did at Louders was to go to big peas, the little short trees.
We must ensure that this area and others like it, which have been very valuable, productive areas. I cringe every time I pass by Staple Grove Plantation, because as a young boy, I had relatives working at Staple Grove, and I know what that plantation used to produce. Now I see churches building on it, schools, houses, everything. And as we look around this entire community, we see gradually good agricultural land going into housing. If we create a concrete jungle in Barbados, what will happen to us when we have to look for food?
I am a mare farmer, and I am putting farming first. I am also putting country first. Over the selfishness that I see in this island that is taking over the place for the love of money. And it is time that we stop taking land out of agriculture, and the land that has come out and gone into grass and bush should be mandatory put back into agriculture.
One of the consultants, agricultural economist Dr. Frank Allen, pointed out that development is about people, and physical development should not undermine their quality of life.
In Barbados, we have about 6 different classes of land in terms of capability. The class 1 is ideal land for farming. Class 2, good for farming but less ideal in terms of slope and soil cover and so on. It is the class 5 and 6 lands which I would consider marginal lands for agriculture. We have come to a juncture which I call the watershed in this country in terms of our development. And I urge you to be serious about it. I have no doubt all of you are serious here tonight. And you have to continue the debate on this issue, because it's fiscally to provide a template for what happens in the rest of Barbados. My position is absolutely clear. Not a single square meter of good agricultural land should be taken over agriculture. And we have the support of farmers. Government must put an enabling policy in place so that farming will become profitable and that young, bright people will want to pursue a career in farming as farmers, as business people.
The public is urged to be a part of shaping the plan as additional community meetings are held and the consultants carry out their fieldwork.
These are the persons who live there. More than likely, the majority of them will continue to live there over the next 10 years and beyond. So therefore, to involve them in the process, not only is it crucial, but it's sensible, because they should have a better knowledge of their communities than any of us, notwithstanding our professional qualifications. What was done, which was novel, and I really applaud the consultants for this. They went into the primary school system and they spoke with students there, and they also spoke with an organized community group. So you have the primary school children, let's say they're between ages 5 and 11. So at the end of the plan, they will be 15 and 21. They spoke with the young people in the community group around age 16 to 20, so they'll be 26 and 30. So it is important that they too have a role.
The young residents of the surrounding districts identified shaded areas, the opportunity to grow crops, orderly and clean streets, and the availability of shops and churches in the area as aspects of the community they liked. They were concerned about unoccupied buildings and land, litter, the negative results of small business on communities, and the quality of roads, including a lack of sidewalks. They also called for more resource centers for the youth. The critical stakeholder is the landowner, but there's also a role for disaster emergency organizations, community groups, and returning nationals.
Whether you're the owner of a lot that measures 300 square meters, or you own a plantation of 300 acres, you have the right to be present and to express your views as the same right as the person who has access to the 300 acres. Because again, this is, sometimes we find that a person may say, well, you know, I only own a lot. My contribution is not going to be that significant. No, we're encouraging those persons to also contribute to the process.
Once the plan is completed, it will be made available in the community and online. It is expected to be completed and submitted by October.
When the draft plan has been completed and submitted, at that stage we are going back into the community again. After giving them some time to look at the plan, we're going back into the community again to get their thoughts. Those thoughts will be incorporated into the document before we move to the draft final. When the plan is submitted, the public also has another role, and I should say that while the plan is for St. David's to 6 Crossroads, that does not limit the contributions of other Barbadians. When the plan is completed, prior and is then submitted to the minister, the law requires that any member of the public, because we have to put it out there, should be able to make, as they say, representation. So objections or representation, which must be submitted in writing. Then the minister is required by law to appoint a commissioner to have a public inquiry. So this process probably will not be completed in terms of a final process before June 2015. But the good thing about it is the law also allows for, while this is not a development plan for the entire island, the law also allows for the plan to be used as part of the decision-making process. So while that is going on, we as the planning office will have a guide that we can use to help us to make the best informed decision.
Residents are urged to continue to express their opinions on the use of land in the study area so as to shape the future scope, nature, and location of future developments.
We welcome your feedback on our programs. You may email your comments to bgisfeedback@barbados.gov.bb. You may also view our website at www.gisbarbados.gov.bb or subscribe to our YouTube channel, the BGIS.